Wow, my first anime review. Or at least on this channel, because for the most part, this is like my fourth try at YouTube. You see, if you mosey onto my About section on my channel, you'll see that the channel originally was dedicated to games, anime, and music reviews. Yeah, I'm nowhere near good enough at music theory to be able to genuinely and unbiasedly criticize music. I'd probably just copy what other critics say about music, to be honest. But anime is something I know. I've been a fan of anime for around a decade at this point, and it's not even my first go around at reviewing it. I had a channel with 350 subscribers that I used to use to review anime before it was removed from Google. Fuck! I don't exactly know why. The fact of the matter is, the only review that's saved from that channel is the Danganronpa review, which happens to be the first video I uploaded to the channel. If you go back and watch that now, you can tell I wasn't confident in front of a microphone like I am now, so I'm pretty quiet, and the video's editing is relatively lackluster. Makoto Nagi is enrolled in an extremely prestigious school. However, we soon find out that he was enrolled as more of a pity party enrollment. So I wanted to get back into reviewing anime for a little bit. I'd made a couple of game reviews already, and I thought I should change it up for this video. So today we're going to be talking about a show that not too many people know about, but a show that I personally believe deserves a little bit more credit than it gets. Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-Chan is a relatively irrelevant anime from 2004 released by Studio Dean. Looking from the animation, you can probably tell it's a relatively generic looking show, but the story is anything but generic. That's the thing, I only found out about this show because of an anime top 10 list. A list of the worst anime of all time. Yeah, that's the thing, some guy really doesn't like this show. I can't even remember who it is at this point, but all I remember is seeing it in an anime top 10 worst list, and then picking it up because it was super cheap at my local store. That's the thing, I actually like this show quite a bit, and while there are some issues, it's definitely not perfect. I genuinely believe that a lot of people should know about this show, or at least should give it a try. It's also very interesting to talk about because of its plot structure and the way that episodes are structured, as it's quite different to usual 13-episode show affairs. So, let's begin.
Why are you such an idiot, Angel? I mean it, you're not allowed to bludgeon anybody at any time, especially me.
But Sakura-kun...
What do you mean, but? If you bludgeon one of my classmates and they find out you're an angel, we're gonna be in big trouble!
Why can't they know about me?
Just because. They're not used to having angels around here.
I don't understand, but okay. It'll be our little secret.
Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-Chan started out life as a manga/visual novel written by Mitsuna Sasuke, and then adapted into an anime by Studio Dean, a company who's well known for producing the Hitalia series and also Higurashi When They Cry, a horror/thriller anthology of shows. The show also has a PS2 iteration by the name of It's a Game Now Dokuro-Chan, Great Health Diagnosis Strategy, which was produced by Idea Factory and released on November 10th, 2005. The show received relatively mediocre to okay reviews from critics at the time. Its relatively unknown reputation can be thanked for these middling reviews.
Good morning, everyone.
Nigga. I'm 200% nigga. Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Why are you running? Why are you running?
The R squared pear-shaped item that was seen on President George Bush's back was determined to be a blackboard eraser by the infrared ray sensor. In other news, during an interview with Kim Jong-il, it was reported that the General Secretary's glasses were fake. Suspiciously, they contain no lenses, and the government plans to take a...
Sakura Kusakabe is a generic high school student who does whatever teenage boys do with their life at that point. That is, until Dokuro-Chan makes her appearance. She effectively rolls up to his crib one day and says, "I want to live with you," and now she lives with him. Sakura's dad doesn't give a damn about it either. Lucky guy. Anyway, we don't know anything about Dokuro-Chan other than the fact that she has a magic bludgeon, she's an angel, and she can kill Sakura at any time she wants, and then revive him with a dumb magical girl phrase. I think it's important to talk about the fact that this show is very, very self-aware. It's constantly using self-referential humor, and not only parodying the magical girl genre as a whole, whilst also being a good addition to the genre, but it's also stepping up to the plate for the genre in a way. Think about it. Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-Chan is a fun magical girl anime that's constantly making fun of itself and the genre it's a part of. That's fucking awesome. Anyway, we see her kill him a couple of times, and again, we still don't know about anything that she's here for. It turns out, halfway through the first episode, a terrible secret about why she's actually living with him is revealed. Just take a listen.
You can't stop me from telling him! This is an image of the future world in 2025.
It hasn't really changed that much, has it? Don't all of the females look kind of young?
This is the cafeteria at the all-female college.
What? They look like elementary school kids.
Yes, that's because these images show the future world's advanced immortality technology. And the person who accidentally discovers this technology is...
Yeah, me?
Angels don't have very forgiving hearts for those who try to become closer to God's domain. That's why I am a member of the Angels of the Martial Law Council.
So what we actually find out is Dokuro-Chan is an assassin sent from the future to kill Sakura Kusakabe before he accidentally creates a pedophile world. Huh. Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't think you'd be a fan of this storyline just because of that sentence right there, I don't blame you. I mean, I wasn't too turned off by the story's concept, but you're actually in for good luck, because this show doesn't give a damn about the story anyway. Effectively, the story given by the characters in this scene is actually nothing to do with what the rest of the show is like, because what this show does interesting is it actually has a very similar plot structure to Space Dandy, where the concept of the show is told to you in a quick scene, and then the rest of the show completely discards that plot in favour of episodic, individual stories that take the characters wherever the show writers feel. There's really no grasp on where the characters can and can't go, because the show almost never, ever actually cares about or makes an attempt to try and tell the main story. Instead, the show is split up into a bunch of little stories, occasionally calling back to what happened in the first episode, but very rarely ever actually doing so. This is so effective to the point where I actually didn't remember the first episode's justification for any of this happening. I just thought these characters were doing this shit because they wanted to. I totally forgot the pedophile world, or the fact that Dokuro-Chan is a fucking assassin. So yeah, if you don't like the sound of the story, you don't actually have to worry, because other than mentioning it a couple of times, it's completely forgotten as soon as it's said. Like someone with Alzheimer's.
Everyone's okay with that?
Sir, now that the class representative has turned into a monkey, would it be alright with you if I sit next to Sakura-kun?
Sure, I don't see why not.
Looks like I'm sitting next to you.
Now wait just a minute, sir! Aoki is the one that sits at this desk! What? But she was there just a minute ago. Now even her books are gone? Where did she go? You guys, what happened to Aoki? She was here just a second ago, right? This is weird! Did you see Matsunaga turn into a monkey? Come on, people, open your eyes! She's an angel! Can't you be a little more alarmed? Why is everyone being so quiet? Teacher, wait, don't go! You guys are...
However, we're not peaches and cream yet, as there is still an issue that I need to mention. Not an issue big enough to completely destroy a recommendation for this show, but an issue that's big enough that it did get really annoying by the end. I'm going to use the example of the Big Bang Theory for this, and even though I haven't seen enough of that show personally to know if it's true or not, and to verify it, I can personally say I've heard a lot of people use the same complaints to justify not liking that show. So, let's begin. A lot of people say the Big Bang Theory has only one joke and one concept and runs with it throughout the entirety of its runtime. I don't know that's true for the Big Bang Theory, but I definitely know it's true for Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-Chan. The issue I have is that Sakura is such a downtrodden and downbeaten character, it almost feels like he is the one who you should be rooting for, despite the fact that he would go on to accidentally create a pedophile world. Despite the fact that that wouldn't be by his choice, as due to his own admission, he wouldn't have done that because it would have been by complete accident. The fact of the matter is the show has such a hatred for this kid, it almost feels cruel at points. I understand the cartoon violence, and the show is always relatively enjoyable all the way up to the end, but there are points where it becomes less funny and more aggravating when this stuff happens. Add to that, the outside world is just so against this kid, they refuse to notice when things take place that result in his inevitable demise, and refuse to notice Dokuro-Chan's antics. For example, the class that he is in just doesn't give a fuck about this kid. It's absolutely mental how little the world cares about Sakura Kusakabe and his life. Even the teachers don't do anything about it, and when she mentions that he has private pornographic magazines under his bed, they even fucking laugh at the kid. God damn, man, this world fucking hates this guy. One situation where I genuinely felt the show went a little bit too far is after a situation in which Sakura was floating downstream on a nature trip with his school for the entire day, only to be poisoned by eating curry that contained mouldy, rotten mushrooms that were obtained off of the walls of a public bathroom. And whilst his facial expression shows pure pain and anguish, his classmates just walk away, leaving him freezing cold to clutch his guts, while he feels pain and agony, and hallucinates curry pots attacking him because the mushrooms were hallucinogenic. Damn, this fucking kid! Ah! I mean, aside from that, that's my only complaint, really. I mean, that's the thing, this show really didn't stand a chance from the beginning. Not only because of its lackluster concept and the fact that it barely has a leg to stand on from the beginning, but because it's so short. The first season's only 5 episodes, split into 2 halves for each episode. 26 minutes equals 2 13-minute minisodes that oftentimes have nothing to do with the previous. So anyone who came to this show looking for a fully fledged story is going to be sorely disappointed from the beginning. And anyone who came here looking for a show that they could put a lot of time into, like Ranma 1.5, is also going to be disappointed because this show barely lasts an afternoon. But I still like it, and I'm still going to recommend it to you guys. The animation is really nice, and even though it looks pretty generic style-wise, the facial expressions used is genuinely crazy. And I'm not talking expressions like smile and frown, I'm talking different art styles. At some points they even use live-action art, which is actually really cool. The show is creative as hell, and I can tell it probably wasn't made on a very big budget, but even so, it's still a pretty looking show. In terms of music, it's okay as well. Mostly forgettable tracks, but the opening theme song is pretty catchy. And for voice acting, yeah, it's alright. The English voice acting ain't too great, with some characters being pretty annoying and delivery of some lines being a bit off. But the Japanese voice acting is fine. Just stick to what you like. If you like dubs, you'll like this show. If you like subs, you'll be fine with it as well. That's the thing, there ain't too much more to say about it, to be honest.